Hello soulmates, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to cut and also how to sew this particular trouser using a freehand method. I have a tutorial on how to cut this type of trouser using a pattern, but this particular video is on how to cut and also how to sew this using a freehand method. So if this is something you're interested in, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Please like this video because it helps it get to the right audience. Please comment, share with your friends, and let's get started. Welcome back, guys. So the measurements needed for this trouser is your trouser length, your inseam measurement, your waist measurement, your hip measurement, your thigh measurement. So these are the measurements you'll be needing. So let's start taking the measurements. So you place your tape rule like this. Because my band will be 2 inches, that is why I'm placing my tape 1.5 inches away. The band will be 2 inches, but you know the sewing allowance is half inch. That is why I'm placing the tape rule 1.5 inches away. Then you go ahead to measure your trouser length. So that is what I'm just trying to show you. So my trouser length is 40. As you can see from the video, the trouser is kind of short, but if you want it longer, you can add extra inches. So after placing your tape, you measure your inseam. So the inseam I measured was from the end of the trouser upward. That was the line below this line. The line below this line is my inseam, so I just measure it from the trouser end upward. I'm sorry I did not show you that. So this other line is my hip line. So the hip line is 9 and my inseam is 11. So like I said, the half inch at the top is for the joining allowance. So the next thing you'll be doing now is to measure your hip measurement divided by 4. For my hip measurement, I added extra 2 inches to my hip because I wanted it free at the hip area. So if you also want that, you can also do that. So after that, whatsoever I have divided into 4, I divide into 4 again, just like you see me folding this tape. So what I have there was 2.75 inches. So that was what I measured at this hip area. So I'm adding half inch to this side because of the joining at the crotch area. So after taking your hip measurement divided by 4, the hip measurement divided by 4 again, then you can just add half inch. It is not confusing at all, just add extra half inch. So that's just the line here. I'm sorry for the confusion. So whatsoever you have, your hip measurement divided by 4 plus the half inch, you measure it at this upper part. You know, I said my hip measurement was 36. 36 divided by 4 was 9. So 9.5 was what I measured at this hip area and also at the waist area over here. So I extended this line down to the crotch area. So now you take half inch away from this waist area just to make a slight curve here. You take out half inch away from this area. So I'm just trying to transfer the line downward. As you can see, I connect it from the hip down to this crotch area using a curve like this. So whatsoever you have at this crotch area, you divide into 2. So after dividing, I like to move in by half inch again. So after dividing, I move towards the side by half inch. You see, I move towards this side by half inch. So it's the new measurement I'll be using. I hope you get what I did. So the first point there was divided by 2. So the second one was minus half inch. So now it's time to take our thigh measurement. Your thigh measurement is always 2 inch, 1.5 inch below your crotch line. So that's just what I did. So my thigh measurement divided by 2. As you know that this trouser is not a tight trouser, so when you're measuring your thigh measurement, you make sure you add like extra 2 inch allowance. So you measure it divided by 2 at this area. Then you measure your new length at this point. Then whatsoever you have at that area, we divided the line, that crotch line we divided. Yes, you extend it downward just like this. Then your new measurement, it should be your thigh measurement because this is a free trouser, is straight from the thigh downward, except you want to make any adjustments to this. So you mark what you have. So mine was 11 inches. So that was what I marked. So at the end of the trouser too, you take out the same thing, you measure the same thing there. It's 11 inches. So the next thing to do is to connect all these points together using a straight ruler. Connect this part two together. So after I was connecting, I noticed it was not straight at this point, so I will just redraw the line and make it straight. So at this part here, I have just tiny like ½ inch towards the side, so I'll just blend it in like this. Then I will roll it out. So at this waist area, you measure the waist measurement divided by 4. Mine was 6. So then you had your dart allowance 1 inch, then the ½ inch we added at the ape area, if you remembered. So you add it back to it. So I'm just trying to measure it at the upper part. So that's just what I'm trying to do again. So there's no sewing allowance to this except the ½ inch we just added. So all the sewing allowance will be added to the back. So you just lance this to the hip area just like that. So with this we are ready to cut our front bodies. So let's cut our back body. So I've placed this my front bodies on my back bodies. With this upper part, it has an extension of 1½ inches, and at this side over here there's a space of 2 inches all through downward at this area. You know the cloth is matching, that is why you can't see that, but there's an additional 2 inches here after I place the front bodies on it. And here I'm just trying to extend this part. So yeah, I have extra 1½. If your hip is big, you can add additional 2 inch at that area. So now I'm just extending the end of the front bodies upward. So that's what I did here. Then I slant this line towards this edge over here. So at this part here, I'll be extending it by just 1 inch extension. Then I will just curve it back into these bodies like this. This is just to accommodate the hip. So this is what I do now. I'll just reconnect these points together again. You know, it is not the same as the front. So if you reconnect like this, it also helps because there's a space, a little bit of space at that area. So you just reconnect like this. I hope you get. If you don't get, you can just rewatch this part again. So this is what we have, and we are ready to cut. As you can see what I'm cutting, you follow it. This side there's an additional 2 inches which will serve as the sewing allowance. So at this part, I'm sorry this video is blurred, but what I'm just trying to do here is to take my dart allowance, which I will show you better. So the dart allowance is just your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 plus ½ inch. So this is the dart that I took out here. So this is the dart. So now I went ahead to join the crotch area and also make my darts. I want this part to be fast as possible. And for the back, what I did was to leave a space for zip, and I took out my darts. So I leave a space of about, this is 6 inches. You know, I'll be adding a band too, so it will extend this. Then I sew the remaining part, then I took my darts. So now to cut the band, you'll be measuring whatsoever you have at this area for the band. So for the band, we'll be cutting, the wideness of the band will be 5 inches and the length will be whatsoever you measured at this area. So when we fold, we have 2½, but when we open it up, we have 5. This is because we'll be folding it in by ½ inch on both ends. So for the front also, you fold into 2 like this. Then after the joining allowance at the crotch area, you measure whatsoever you have left. Then that will be the length of your band. So mine was so much, so I'm just trying to reduce it a little. So now the next thing we'll be doing is to add stay to the band and to also fold the band. So after adding stay to the band and folding, that is what we have. Then we'll be fixing this. You just place it half inch in, then you pin it down. Pinning is so important so that you can know what you are doing. So you pin it down, you pin the front band to the front, then the back to each of them like that. So after you are done, you go ahead to sew. So after sewing, whatsoever excess you have, you trim it away. You trim it away like this. It's always good to have excess. So if you have any excess, just trim it out. After measuring your correct waist measurement at this area, you trim the remaining excess part out. So now it's time to join the side and also join the inseam area, that is the under the trouser. You join the side, then under the trouser you also join that too. So for this part, the way I join this, I make sure this pattern are matching. Then I join from this end down towards, I join from this point towards the end, and I join from the point towards the other end. So with that, I know that the points are matching. So after joining and everything, the next thing to do is to hem our the end of our trouser. So whatsoever your sewing allowance is at this point, you go ahead to sew it. Then you go ahead to fix your zip. So I'll be using an invisible zip for mine. You can use any zip of your choice. So this is what the trouser looks like after ironing. This is what it looks like, and it came out really nice. So because I don't want it to be too long, that is why it was short. But if you want yours to be longer than this, you add extra inches, or you just use your full length. You use your desired length. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, share, comment, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.